0-1 against Trick Esports, but Team Liquid actually chose to go with first pick, so the Battleground went over to Trick Esports. So Infernal Shrines being the Battleground that we're going to, and we saw this played by Trick last week. And the early game, they hung with Fnatic of all teams. Now, of course, Fnatic builds out teams that are spiking at level 10, so if Trick Esports can manage doing what they did last week and have maybe a good team that spikes at level 10, they can continue to go up in this series.
Yeah, and the draft just was quite strong for Trick in the last map. I mean, I said it during the draft itself. The tools they have to shut Illidan down are great. The only question was, is today the time when Trick really works together? We saw them in the past, having a couple of days where they looked fantastic, then on other days the timing is a bit off and they don't really get the value. But just today, every teamfight that we saw, the tools against Illidan were strong, up to a point where Liquid said, guys, this isn't working out. Let's play the macro game against them. Let's just don't go into these team fights and have a bad one. Make sure that we get more value out of our global. Because one of the problems that they were faced with, even though I like the talent choice for what it was intended to do, Wizened Duelist on level 7 never got any value. None whatsoever.
Didn't pay off at all. Kind of weird to think. Trick Esports, could they beat Team Liquid today? And if they do, I don't understand Europe at all. I'm just ready for every single series that happens because apparently everything is going to be explosive. Team Liquid comes out with the Genji ban.
Yeah, so the ban against Make, and this is something Hazob's talked about when he said, hey, Trick, they are really strong, there's a lot of synergy, but we're not quite sure how Make really fits into the team yet. Oftentimes there's a little bit of a moment when you see that they're not quite on the same page yet. This is going to improve over time, of course. But they ban out Make's Genji, and this is the hero that he plays the most, by far. Whenever he has a chance, we are seeing Make on Genji, so now Trick has to adapt. But their own ban is also interesting, since with Hazobs we have a fantastic Medivh player on the side of Team Liquid when it comes to Infernal Shrines.
Now, Team Liquid on the left here, they have a chance to move into the Vala, which Nurok has mentioned that he has unlocked the power of the Vala. He understands her now and what she brings into formation. Now, will Team Liquid move into the full double support? Typically, that is a choice available when you have Auriel. And with Uther still being on the table, why not?
Yeah, they took the Auriel as the level 1, so once again showcasing the priority that Auriel by now has taken thanks to the double support meta. There are very few teams to turn away from the double supports, Fnatic being one of them. But then again, Fnatic is, as I said before, they seem to be in a league of their own right now, especially with their global play that they've been showcasing over and over again. And what they're doing right now, Liquid that is again strong. The focus on Illidan over the last 2 weeks has been insane. And at this point, if you have an Auriel and an Uther with Illidan, how do you kill this guy? You need either to have some really good stuns, another Horrify here, but you have so many tools to keep Illidan safe. It's just a fantastic start into this draft for Team Liquid.
Do you want the answer Snowflake-wise or meta-wise?
I mean, it's you, so give me the Snowflake.
Snowflake-wise, Brightwing Emerald win. You move in, you separate the two of them, and you focus the Illidan, and then you laugh as you destroy them afterwards.
I was expecting you to go in for the Murky Octograb.
Nah, Murky Octograb doesn't work. Too late on the power spike, you know, and you level 16. Meta-wise, I mean, Tassadar Force Walls are still a great strength, but what you want is separation, basically. You want to find a way to get the Illidan to overextend slightly. The problem is, it's Darkmok. Darkmok doesn't run away from his team unless he is fully comfortable that he knows he can get kills or at least create space in some form.
Now, of course, we have the updated Brightwing version now here too, but well, I say updated in the current patch, we have D.Va being banned out, and we've been talking about D.Va a bit earlier today, that she was hit by a few nerfs that especially Alex doesn't like really all too much, since he says it's so much harder now to put the pressure onto the carry of your opponent. So it's an interesting ban that even after the nerf, Liquid says on this map, against Trick Esports, we still respect D.Va to an extent where we want to ban her out just because Alex is too strong.
She has 2 battlegrounds that I think she, by herself, is strong. This battleground in particular, because of defense matrix on the shrines, you're able to control those chokes way too well. It fits perfectly in those little crevices, and so being able to engage and lose out on your damage is quite a hard task to overcome. And then secondly, on Braxis, you have the ability to drop your bombs on top of the Zerg wave. So it makes sense, not a bad ban, and with Trick Esports being on the board here, you never want to leave anything up.
Look what we have for Trick now. We have again Gul'dan, not only because it's a great hero for them, but I feel this is again them looking at what Liquid has and identifying immediately. Auriel plus Uther, if we do not isolate Illidan, we will never kill him. So again, Horrify is one of the main plays that they have. And on top of that, they have the Anubarak with the Cocoon, also important. Liquid rounds out that draft with something that we have seen a lot for over the last few weeks. You have your Illidan. He's supposed to be the guy who really disrupts the opponent's team, and then the hero that benefits from all the disruption and chaos is Lunara, since she's going to be a lot safer. And she's also, of course, the one to provide all the hope for Oriel. So really good setup here for Team Liquid. And that leaves us with the question, what is Alex going to play here on Infernal Shrines? What's going to be the hero that really makes all the difference here now for Trick eSports?
We'll have to see, man. You want some kind of lockdown, you want some control. There's also still the theory of going into another support and just trying to make sure that you mitigate all the poison damage coming your way so you can focus on the Illidan. It's going to be a difficult pickup here for Trick eSport.
Zul incoming.
Zul incoming?
He's been practicing him all week long. Are we going to see a bit of a Zul game against an Illidan? I doubt it. Could be possible, but I'm not quite sure if that's really going to be the choice.
It is!
They go for the Zul. I like it.
This is old school, especially on Infernal Shrines. On the first shrine, you typically just ignore it. You put your 4 teammates in the top, and you just try to double soak, and you try to pull pressure away from you. And if you have anyone that comes to defend the Zul, first off, they're usually in a bad spot, because most people can't handle the clear except for Leoric, and Leoric's not in this game. And so you just get the lanes pushing out there, and you're trying to drain the ammo on the turrets. That's your main goal, get an experience lead, and then if anyone comes to defend you, you have your 4-man just move all in, and you just clear out that shrine.
So there's a few aspects. We oftentimes talk about Leoric being the better Zul, since he can easily, with the Royal Focus build, rotate between lanes. But Zul drains the ammunition a bit more effectively than Leoric actually does. So if you get a Punisher, that helps you with the push, of course, as well. On top of that, we have now a tool with Bone Prison where you can put additional pressure onto Illidan. Of course, with an Oriel and the Uther on the other side, becomes a little bit easier to keep Illidan alive here. But still, this is a really interesting setup here that, from a theoretical point of view, can definitely work. Yeah. And we've seen cool coordination in the last game, so I want to see how Liquid plays around it this time.
There's 2 points to it. There's the one, the Bone Prison you mentioned for the Illidan, and then at 10 we get the Skeletal Mages. You can literally just drop out in the back line, which becomes hard for Lunara to clear, because she has slow auto attack speed, so it takes her time to clear that out. And then, of course, you keep the Oriel and the Uther at back. But the separation that we were talking about in draft becomes very possible with the Zul. Now, of course, it's a bit all in, because if you're able to get through the Skeletal Mages, Zul does nothing in a team fight.
Also, if you're able, with the Bone Prison against Illidan, when he starts diving in, to just provoke a few cooldowns on your opponent's team to bait them out, then you can use the Horrify afterwards. And after the Horrify, all of a sudden you are in a spot where you have burn cooldowns on the supports, and then you can put the damage on him.
Well, let's see how it all unfolds here for game number 2, Infernal Shrines. We're getting Zul from Alex the Prodigy. We've seen him once in the HGC, but maybe the second time will be the charm.
Game number 2, everybody. Tricked is in the lead against Team Liquid as we are heading into Infernal Shrines. And to the left side, Team Liquid with Hazops on Oriel, Norok on Lunara. We see Blumby playing Muradin, Uther played by Splendor, and Darkmog once again on Illidan.
Trick eSports on the right side. Crosby playing Gul'dan. Alex the Pro-G will be on Zul. Alex the Prul. Nubarak will be played by Rimmer. Make on Greymane. And Nape will be playing Rhaegar.
So this is going to be an exciting one. Zul picked up by Tricked. And as we said before, oftentimes when you talk about Zul, it's always the comparison with Leoric. The Royal Focus build with Lingering Apparition allows you easily to soak 2 lanes with Leoric. The big argument, or there's a few big arguments you can make in favor of Zul, and one of them, of course, is that with the skeletons you spawn, you will additionally drain the tower ammunition much faster than you do with Leoric, and therefore you have a bit more power with a Punisher on this map. The idea of Zul here is, of course, to exploit that Team Liquid doesn't have a huge amount of wave clear. So you try to get ahead by simply getting in more minion soak and pressuring the lanes. And we're going to find out right now if Trick can pull that off, if this is really the edge they need to take Team Liquid down again.
And I want you to note right now, Zul isn't going straight to lanes already and starting the soak by himself. It's typically too much. I see a lot of teams in the very beginning group up as 4 and say, all right, Zul, good luck, you're on your own.
Yeah.
And the first couple of levels, you want to make sure he has actually a decent amount of health so he's able to do that double soaking and not have to tap as well, because he needs that well to be set up, because he is going to get harassed at some point. So help him in the early game, split with him. In fact, just clear for him. His trait will still proc.
Exactly, and it's super important that Zul has that self-sustain on the lane.
Exactly.
Before he has that, he is definitely extremely weak. And what your opponent is going to try and do, when he sees you with a 4-man on one side of the map, if they target with 2 heroes, Zul, and kill him, you all of a sudden lose out on Soak on 2 lanes and have to react. So the 4-man with Zul comes online a little bit later than you would usually think, but this is definitely something that we have to watch out for, especially during the Shrine phase now.
He's easily zoned, that is for sure in the early game. Now at level 1, we got Backlash picked up here for the Zul. Typically we see the other level 1 talent against Illidan's, the Evasion, but I actually think the Backlash is much better and I prefer this pickup. It was actually played pretty meta when Zul was picked up around here. The idea is that when it expires, it does 15% damage of maximum health to the person that is near it, and it's area effect too. So you can dive into a lane and pretty much just kind of suicide if you need to and put out that damage in a team fight, but it's also great if you're being chased. You popping that shield no matter what will make someone walk away from you.
And early on, Trick has also a very strong team for these fights. Look what happens, exactly what I talked about earlier. Zul is here and 2 heroes of Team Liquid try to target him. If they get the kill there, that's fantastic for them. But there's another reason why they do this. Splendor goes down, and the reason I was just about to mention is Liquid doesn't have the best early game team fight. Right now, for the first Punisher, they are reluctant to engage here. Illidan's strength comes online a bit later. If they can get an early kill, of course they will go for the Punisher. But if you end up in that 5 versus 5 here over the Shrine, there's a very good chance that early on, when the double supports don't really have the power just yet, when Illidan isn't quite yet the menace he wants to be, that all of a sudden Liquid loses the fight, loses the Punisher, gets behind experience, and Trick snowballs it. That's why Team Liquid is looking to gather experience on the side lanes while giving up the Shrine and the Punisher.
Yeah, but if you could say equal with Azul to level 10, you're usually in a good state, even if you're losing out on the objectives. And right now, they have lost on the objective. Trick Esports, realizing 2 win at the top for Zul, aggressively pushed in, cleared out the Shrine, and killed Splendor. So they got a kill, and they also got a Punisher. And they are pushing in as hard as they can here in the bottom lane. Would love to get some damage on that fort and get that experience.
It looks so simple, but the communications that are happening right now, you have to realize that every time Trick understands there is 1 hero missing at the bottom rotation, they have to tell Zul. As long as Zul is only up against Illidan, he can easily deal with that. But once another hero splits off the 4-man, he has to be careful or he could die here. And if you look at the experience, Liquid isn't really far behind. Illidan has really done well, soaking the XP. We have, of course, quite a bit amount of tower ammunition lost on the side of Liquid, but when it comes to experience, they're still fine. And Trickster pointed out earlier best, you want to hit level 10 when your opponent does. If you are on the same level at that time, then you can, with your teamfight capabilities, do a lot more of work.
And we were mentioning what Team Liquid wants to do here against the Zul composition, but what do you want to achieve as Zul? You want to get the 10 before your opponents, but you also want to drain this ammo so your 4-man rotation can move in at will, clear out those minion waves, and take turrets easy so you get easy experience advantages, which you're starting to see now. We're moving towards that level 8, and Team Liquid and Trick Esports are really doing battle on this scene here. I like how Team Liquid is taking their 4-man rotation and putting it in the middle, making it harder for Zul to make effective moves.
I absolutely love how both of the teams understands their strengths and weaknesses right now and try to cater them. We had only 1 kill so far in the early game, was the one against Uther at the bottom Shrine fight, but right now Trick is just trying to play their cards right. Get that soak in, and Liquid, they're doing so good, staying on the same experience level. This is a really close one. Team fights are fantastic for Liquid, but the one thing they have to watch out for is Gul'dan's Horrify. We saw already on Cursed Hollow how much of an impact that can have in the fight.
Now, we're going to have probably 1 more Shrine phase before level 10 hits, and Trick Esports' goal is to make sure to take that away. And here is that Shrine activating in the top for the next 12 seconds. And notice how they actually haven't moved in towards mercenary camps where Team Liquid has. They understand that they have to keep the pressure up on these waves here for Zul to be effective, for them to move towards level 10. Experience is more important for them than the mercenary camps. So, Muradin at the top lane, so they can go in here. Darkmonk needs to be very careful how he engages. He has a double support, but he still needs to be careful of the Bone Prison, the Horrify later on, and all that burst damage that can come. Keep a Nubarak in mind too. Cocoon, great tool when they are starting to engage here. So Team Liquid and Trick, you be very cautious. And also, don't forget, Trick has the lead in the series. If Liquid makes a silly mistake and ends up losing the map, they're 0-2 against Trick, then would have to win 3 in a row. And this Shrine phase is actually very lucky for Trick Esports too, being in the top. It allows Zul to sit in the middle and the bottom. If it were in the middle, it'd be harder for him to soak 2 lanes. So, 10 is about to hit. Team Liquid is answering back and doing what they can to get experience elsewhere. Yeah. And right now, that's that turret here in the middle. Remember, 10 is a major goal. The Punisher is continuing to be cleared up at the top right, but Team Liquid has to deal with Trick Esports as they rotate in for a fight and to slow them down. Yeah, the main reason Liquid is here in the middle in the first place
is Tricked was ahead in experience. They would have hit 10 first, so you need to get experience before you can focus on the Shrine. And now we have the 10s ready for both sides. Zul going into the Skeletal Mages, exactly what you need. Try to make sure that the backline is isolated from Illidan. Horrify already used. They're trying to go for Lunara. We have Ancestral used on Macke. That's once again, they're jumping in. Cocoon also in play, but Darkmook and Splinter are solo.
The Skeletal Mages keep moping people here, and yes, you're right, members are low. They're going to have the Aegis at the last second here from Aria, but she gets died upon as Nape goes in for the bite.
Great move here. As Aegis was used, Oriel had a massive target point exactly on her. Everybody was on the same page saying, hey, once the Aegis is over, focus her down, take her out, 5 versus 4, we grab the Punisher and we go in immediately. And this is what we're seeing from Tricked right now, running with that advantage they have.
And we're going to have Zul peel off again and do Zul things. And he kind of has to right now. With Illidan having the hunt available, the Illidan is going to continue pushing in different lanes to get the experience. They clear out the top left fort, and the rest of Trick Esports rotates to the middle to break out this fort. They're trying to open the map as much as they can, not only for their Zul, but to deny the Illidan. Keep him at bay.
Yeah, they're doing really well with this at this point. And of course, if you can take down your opponent's fountain on these lanes, it's going to make it so much easier for you when the next Shrine is on the map. So we see Trick going in, Lumbi with a flank attempt though, and it's still a 4 versus 2 at this point. Lumbi actually going really deep and immediately paying the price with Maki using the Cursed Bullet against him.
Don't think he expected all 5 to be there. I think he assumed the Zul was going to rotate to the middle, which would have allowed for the Illidan to hunt in. And they could have danced around long enough. And unfortunately, the mistake, not enough here for Team Liquid as a Cursed Bullet goes straight to Muradin and pushes him back. The fort still falls for Trick.
Trick is doing really well. And Liquid is already down 1 map in the series. We're talking about Team Liquid, the team that took down Dignitas, barely lost to Fnatic, looked super strong in this season so far, and is aiming for the Western Clash. Tricked, they are the team that just has performances all over the place. And they are once again threatening Team Liquid. These two teams clashed twice already in HGC. Both times they went to 5 maps. Both times Team Liquid won it. But now Trick is the team who is really starting to get the upper hand.
They are getting the upper hand here, and I like their maneuver as they come down to the bottom to clear out this minion wave. They also grab the mercenary camp from the top to get Illidan pushing up. But if there isn't a proper response from Team Liquid, they can rotate the middle as 5 and go for that fort and break it open.
The entire time, it really looks as if Team Liquid is the one that has to react to Trick.
They're super reactive.
And over again. The early level 10 forced them to push the mid lane, as we already have a hero to the top collecting minions towards the objective. Now the camp that has been taken, Illidan is just chasing the lanes. He does nothing else. And again, a camp is pushing the mid lane. Trick focuses on the bot lane, takes the next game. He's slightly ahead in experience. Step after step, Trick is just this one little bit ahead that allows them to get the upper hand. But Liquid now, what they need to do is grab the 13 and then go for the fight. This is going to be the 5 versus 5 that's going to show us a lot about this game.
Yeah, this is probably their moment here, especially with it being an Arcane Punisher. And Trick immediately starts a Shrine, gets a 9-1 right away here. Illidan's in the top. He isn't controlled by Rimmer as a new Wreck will scout him out. Hasn't
used Hunt yet, so he can use it mid-fight. Darkmook is trying to take possession of the Shrine here. Lumbi, the pressure is on him, but he jumps out. We have Nurok poking away, doing well so far with the poison damage. Marke, here comes the Horrify. They're going for Lunara immediately. Not on one page though with the attack, but Nurok falls anyways.
He does fall, and Blumby's also low, jumping in the middle here. Cocoon has been used on Splinter, and they turn around and they dive him. Age is being used at the same time. Hasuavs will be able to retreat while Darkmook turns around. He's in a 4v1. He's trying to hunt. He gets locked down.
Down he goes. Darkmook is dead. Illidan is out of the fight, and so is Lunara. No more damage for Team Liquid. Divine Shield used as we see Uther moving out, but here comes Gnappe with a totem, slows him down, and that should be another kill. Uther dies, and that's a 3-0. Arcane Punisher with 100% is on its way, and already Trick is barreling down on that wall, breaking through the gate in the towers.
They break through the wall easily, and they're looking for extra here as they continue to move in. The Punisher to join them at the same time. Uther will not be up for 12 seconds. Team Liquid has to play safe. Blumby pulling back the Punisher towards the middle, but the keep, look at it, it continues to fall.
There's no chance they save this keep, not with a camp behind them on top of it. Punisher is still at nearly full health, and we have Trick nearly 2 levels ahead of Team Liquid. That fight was fantastic. And they weren't even on the same page when the Horrify hit. Not everybody jumped on Lunara. Nurok still couldn't escape and died, but at that moment it looked for just a second as if maybe Oriel gets close enough to drop the Aegis and save her. and still they win that battle and do extremely well cleaning up afterwards.
It's moments like this where Trick Esports, Alex Aprogi in particular, was talking about. We have moments where we feel like we could be a top 3 team, and right now they are feeling like a team that can compete with the best right now in HGC Europe. Can they continue this momentum? Can they continue to keep Team Liquid back on their back foot?
I mean, it's insane what we're seeing here. It's not that Trick can play well, we all know that. It's the way they are doing it at this point. Liquid has been, in both games so far, the team that was really falling behind and looking more like the contender than the favorite in the series. Trick so far in this season, they lost against Fnatic without taking a map. They also lost against the Playing Ducks, and they barely edged out a victory against Experts. But now, against the number 2 in the standings, Trick is looking dominant.
They go from the top left and they run to the bottom. They look to grab Darkmok, but Darkmok a little bit too aware for that, won't get picked up. But Dominant is correct here, Calidor. 16-15, keeping always pushed out. They have catapult pressure in the bottom, and they'll continue to hold Team Liquid back. And right now, they're actually using their 4-man squad as a way to keep Illidan away from the fight. So the 3-man squad from Team Liquid, the Lunara, the Uther, are going to go to the top here and push out that wave.
And I cannot just point out real quickly that we have Zul still on their team. They're the only team that actually plays with Zul. Alex has been practicing with that hero on stream, off stream. He's been doing so much work with him, and they are putting him to the test here. It's one of the maps where Zul was played in the past so often for that side zone. And when we saw the draft, we pointed out that one weakness that Liquid has, they are falling behind, way behind when it comes to the actual wave clear. Illidan himself has a decent amount of siege damage, but he just doesn't have the speed that other heroes have. When you're looking at Crosby with his Gul'dan, you look at Zul and you look at Greymane, they just have so much more wave clear than we are seeing for Team Liquid that it's one of the main reasons why Liquid is falling behind.
And for you at home, before you go home and start picking the Zul as a first pick right away, just be aware that Zul is available in this composition because Team Liquid doesn't have any burst. This is a composition where they can't pick off Zul as going for the rotation, and the Bone Prism gives them a hard route compared to Leoric, who's all bringing the slows.
It's definitely a reactionary pick that we see from Trick as they identified the weakness of Team Liquid's draft. Team Liquid, they excel in the team fights, but they're always behind, and they need to watch out for the Illidan because of those lockdown tools.
Horrify.
Here we go again, Horrify, but Divine Shield used this time. Liquid with a much better approach. Is it enough though?
Illidan gets focused. Blumby on the right side. We're going to have all 5 up for Team Liquid. We're going to have the turnaround. Alex Aprogi getting low on health. He goes straight for it. He's dropping off a Bone Prison. It's going to hit Hasuas, but he gets killed.
Darkmon on the other hand also falling. It's a 1-for-1 trade as we're seeing Blumby going deep once again. Maka is low and he falls, and so does Gul'dan. Both of them are eliminated, and Liquid is showcasing the strength of their draft. It is the team fight that we mentioned earlier.
Rhaegar.
Here comes the kill. No, he doesn't.
Look at the shrine.
Gets out.
Rhaegar does sneak in there. He's going to try and finish it off, and he's going to be able to grab the Punisher. Team Liquid wins the fight, but they lose the objective.
That little rat.
That little rat.
Sneaks in and takes the Punisher there. But this fight just highlighted everything we talked about. The team fight potential of Liquid is crazy. What happened the last 2 team fights? Trick got the isolation and an early kill. Once against Illidan, once against Lunara. In this team fight, on the other hand, the Horrify doesn't hit the 2 supports. All of a sudden, we're seeing Uther go in, he drops the Divine Shield, he saves Lunara. And from that point on, Trick committed so many resources and didn't get the crucial kill they need. And once that happens, Liquid will always win the team fight.
Yep, Trick definitely learned at that moment too. If they don't kill somebody off before Cocoon expires and there's 5 people still up for Team Liquid, they have to disengage. Every single time.
I'm absolutely loving this. Trick play to their strength the entire time. Get the wave clear and push the opponent, put the pressure onto the lanes, and then isolate a target in the fight and take it down. Liquid fell victim to that over and over and over again. But now in that last team fight, 16 versus 16, they finally get the coordination they need. They save the target, and all of a sudden Trick is in trouble. This game is not over by any means.
Horrify on Illidan though. He turns around, he's getting focused. Ariel will get off the Aegis. Can't she get the hill? No, Crosby brings up the Fel Flame, and Hasuas will be next.
Uther was too far away, and once again the second kill. They are trying to go for Lunara, but the Divine Shield comes in. Splendor was isolated from the team, zoned by Nurburak, which was the main reason we didn't see the Divine Shield after Lunara dropped the Aegis, got the Aegis. So that was really well done. Illidan actually got the Aegis in the one that needed the Divine Shield, but Uther was not in range, and this is keep number 2.
Key number 2 being focused. Curse Bullet comes out, and with that missing, Trick eSport will take the keep and at least back up for now. Set up for the next shrine phase. They have catapult pressure now in the top and the bottom, and they have a full level lead over Team Liquid.
Absolutely beautiful game that we're seeing here. So much to learn from this game and how both of the teams are approaching the map and the fights. Uther is now trying to soak a little bit more, is trying to make sure that they're heading into level 20 since they know this is the next big thing. Tricked will be very reluctant to force a fight now unless they see an isolation kill. But outside of it, they will try and hit level 20 and then focus on the shrine. So they are moving around, they know they have the pressure, they're taking camps at this point. It's another 20 seconds in which they can get the experience to head into their Storm Talons.
Meanwhile, Team Liquid's working on 20 themselves, about to hit 19 as Illidan's clearing out the middle and the bottom lanes. With Hunt being available, he could charge in and help his team as Blumby is searching for a target. They invade on the right side and Rimmer will scout him out. The Stormbolt misses and Blumby will be focused. Cursed Bullet coming out instantly.
Immediately slow, Horrify used against the Muradin. Not so sure about that.
Hunt.
They're forcing the issue. Hunt comes in. Blumby is still alive, and that's a big cooldown that just got burned by Gul'dan.
Avatar also got used though. Curse Blow will be up in 15 seconds and 20 on the way here for Trick. They may be able to go back and forth and engage. The Hunt is still down, but remember, Illidan can work on getting it back up.
Yeah, also the camp pushing in at the top lane for Liquid allows them to grab more experience, for Trick that is, since we have the wave now here. And the mid lane, that's the important one because there's two camps pushing into the mid lane and this is threatening the last keep of Team Liquid.
Last keep available here. Cleanse does come out. Blumby is turned around here. Bone Prison have been popped up. Here is the Hunt as it goes straight in for Alex Aproji.
Trying to jump in, Skeletal Mages in the background already. Hazops is low, healing once again. Maka on him, Divine Shield is out, saving Oriel, but everybody's under pressure. Blumby is rotating out to the Aegis, dropped.
Darkmark on the left side here taking damage. Hasselhoff has hope available for everyone here, but can he hope to get out of this fight? You're going to have Darkmark taking damage, big and bell hits. Make goes in, and we have Illidan falling.
Double stun, and they take Illidan down and chase Blumby. It's the kill against the tank, and all of a sudden it's a 5 versus 3. For Trick, they have their 20. They go in once again. They're attempting to drop Nurok, and he falls. Lunara is down. So is Hazorbs. It's a 5-0, and they don't even need the Punisher.
Luther barely does get away, but you're right. All 5 heading straight to the core. The core is already down to 50% from the catapult pressure, and Trick Esports is going to walk forward and get a 2-0 advantage over Team Liquid.
Tricked absolutely rocking the series at this point. They play so well here. Liquid nearly turned it around in the team fight that we've seen in the middle, but oh boy is that good. Trick comes out swinging and takes a 2-0 lead against a Team Liquid that looked fantastic over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, Team Liquid has really been a force to deal with. They took Fnatic all the way to Game 5. They shut down every match they've had since then. And here against Tricked Esports, they are out with a 2-0 right now. But there is something to worry about. So far in HGC Europe, this has been the season of reverse sweeps. Team Liquid still has a chance.
They indeed do. Team Liquid has played a very strong season so far. And we know that oftentimes when it comes to a 5th map, Tricked is struggling. Then again, for 5th map, Liquid
they have 3 chances
exactly
not to fail here. Let's go ahead and go to a commercial break, and we'll get ready for game number 3. We'll be right back. This is